Take a match to your vision board. Watch the paper curl and blacken. Tear the 5-year plan you wrote in a fit of drunken optimism. Throw the journals where you beg the universe for favors into the trash. They are not helping you. They are poisoning you. They are the chains keeping you shackled to a future that is nothing more than a ghost. You have been told that to succeed, you need a shiny, perfect destination on the horizon. But look at your life. Look at it. Has chasing that hallucination made you powerful, or has it made you anxious? Has it given you sovereignty, or has it made you a slave to a result you cannot predict? Niccolò Machiavelli, the architect of power, did not have goals. He did not rely on the pathetic crutch of hope. He did not ask the world for permission. He possessed something colder, something sharper. He had a method. A goal is merely a wish disguised as a plan. A method is a siege. If you are tired of climbing ladders only to realize they are leaning against a crumbling wall, then you are ready for the violence of truth. But be warned, this is not self-help, this is self-conquest. Most men rot in a state of becoming. They spend their entire existence waiting for the promotion, the lover, the money. They live in the purgatory of the not yet. And because their spirit inhabits a future that does not exist, they are hollow right now. They are fragile. One unexpected blow from life, one shift in the violent winds of Fortuna, and they collapse. Why? Because their entire identity was anchored to a harbor they never reached. Machiavelli understood that the world is chaos. He called it Fortuna, the violent, unpredictable river of fate. If you build your house on the banks of a river called goals, you will drown when the flood comes, and the flood always comes. What I am forcing you to confront today is how to stop building on the sand and start becoming the river. I will show you how to incinerate the fragile concept of goals and replace it with the unbreakable Machiavellian concept of positioning. When you master this, success and failure become irrelevant. You simply advance. You become inevitable. You become a force of nature that cannot be stopped because you are no longer aiming at a single point. You are expanding in all directions. But to possess this virtue, you must murder the dreamer inside you. You have to suffocate the child who wants a reward and wake up the strategist who demands power. The method is simple, but it is brutal. It requires you to look at your life not as a story, but as a battlefield. Why do you set goals? Ask yourself deeply. Why do you write down, "I want $1 million"? It is because you are in pain. You are disgusted by your present reality, so you construct a fantasy future to escape it. The goal is not a map. It is a painkiller. It numbs you to the visceral horror that right now you are not who you require yourself to be. Machiavelli despised hope. He viewed it as a disease. In The Prince, he implies that relying on time to solve your problems is the mark of a fool. He wrote that men often deceive themselves by painting a picture of the world as they wish it to be, rather than seeing it as it is. When you fixate on a goal, you develop tunnel vision. You stare so intently at the peak of the mountain that you do not see the cliff right in front of your feet. You become rigid, and in nature, rigid things break. Think about the last time you failed a major goal. You crashed. You felt worthless. Why? Because you gambled your entire self-worth on an outcome you could not control. You gave your sovereignty away to the future. Machiavelli suggests a darker path. Virtu. This is not about being good. It is about being effective. It is about skill, force, and ruthless competence. A Machiavellian does not whine, "I want to be rich." That is a passive desire. A Machiavellian says, "I will acquire the skills of lethal persuasion. I will master the flow of capital, and I will position myself where money is forced to flow through me." Do you see the difference? The first is a wish. The second is a structural change to your reality. The goal setter relies on luck. The strategist relies on necessità, necessity. When you delete your goals, you are not surrendering. You are getting dangerous. You are looking at your life and asking, where are the leverage points? Where am I weak? Who is standing in my sunlight? This is the transmutation from dreamer to architect. The dreamer looks at the sky. The architect looks at the foundation. Stop looking at the horizon. Look at your hands. What can you control right now? Machiavelli teaches us that the outcome is often out of our hands. Fortuna spins her wheel without regard for your feelings. But the preparation, the strategy, that is yours. And if your strategy is absolute, even a bad outcome cannot destroy you. You simply pivot, you adapt, you continue. You must fall out of love with the destination and fall in love with the siege. We live in a loud, pathetic era. Everyone broadcasts their moves. I'm starting a business. I'm going to the gym. You post it on social media to get validation before you have even taken a step. Machiavelli would call this suicide. He used the metaphor of the lion and the fox. The lion is strong, but the lion falls into traps. The fox is weak, but the fox sees the traps. To be powerful, you must be both. But regarding your ambitions, be the fox. When you announce your goal, your brain releases dopamine. It gives you the satisfaction of achieving the goal without doing the work. You feel accomplished, and you lose the hunger. You tricked your own brain into complacency. Furthermore, you create resistance. You create enemies. People who are jealous, people who want you to fail so they don't have to confront their own stagnation. Machiavelli advised that a prince should never reveal his true intentions until the knife is already moving. One must be a great feigner. Delete your goals from your bio. Move in silence. This is about energy conservation. Talking leaks power. Doing generates power. Imagine you are building a bomb. Do you show everyone the schematics? No, you build it in the dark. And the only time the world knows about it is when it explodes. Be the bomb. Instead of a goal, have a secret agenda. A goal is external. I want a promotion. A secret agenda is internal. I am going to make myself indispensable, gather leverage, and force their hand. The goal is pleading. The agenda is plotting. When you operate with a secret agenda, you walk differently. You sit in meetings observing, calculating. You know something they don't. You are playing a game they don't even know has started. This creates a magnetic, dark aura. People sense the power you are holding back. It makes them nervous. It makes them respectful. Stop seeking applause for things you haven't done. Starve your ego. Feed your shadow. Here is where most men break. You set a goal, you work hard, and then life happens. You get sick, the market crashes, the goal becomes impossible. The goal setter collapses. They cry, "It's not fair." The Machiavellian laughs. He laughs because he knows that Fortuna is a woman who loves to be mastered. She is wild, she is violent. If you have a rigid goal, chaos is your enemy. If you have a Machiavellian system, chaos is fuel. Machiavelli wrote, "Fortune is a woman, and she lets herself be won more by the impetuous than by those who proceed coldly. You must be aggressive with reality." When the plan fails, you do not stop. You attack the new problem. Delete plan A and B. There is only the objective and the terrain. The objective is power. The terrain is whatever is happening right now. If the terrain changes, throw away the map and look at the ground. Let's say you lose your income. The goal setter says, "My life is ruined." The strategist says, "The terrain has shifted. My necessity has increased. I will use this urgency to pivot into a higher leverage industry." One is defeated by reality, the other uses reality. This is anti-fragility. Don't build a glass castle, build a fire. Wind blows out a candle, but it fuels a fire. When you have goals, you are a candle. When you have a power method, you are the fire. Ask yourself, if I lost everything tomorrow, would I know what to do? If the answer is no, you are soft. You need to mentally rehearse the destruction of your life. Machiavelli spent years in exile. He was tortured, stripped of his titles. Did he give up? No. He sat down in the mud and wrote The Prince. He turned his exile into a weapon. He conquered the future. He used his misery as ink. What are you doing with your misery? Are you letting it rot you, or are you weaponizing it? We are told to love ourselves, to practice self-care, but there is no time for weakness. Machiavelli asked, "Is it better to be loved or feared?" His answer, "It is safer to be feared than loved." Apply this to yourself. Do you love yourself? You let yourself sleep in. You let yourself consume poison. That is love, and that love is making you mediocre. You need to fear yourself. You need to fear the part of you that is lazy. You need to fear the version of you that wakes up 5 years from now with nothing. You must become your own tyrant. A Machiavellian ruler imposes order on chaos. You are the ruler of your own mind, but right now, your mind is in rebellion. Your impulses want cheap dopamine. If you try to love them into submission, they will laugh at you. You must crush the rebellion. Delete the goal of losing weight. Install the mandate of physical sovereignty. A sovereign does not negotiate with terrorists, and your cravings are terrorists. When you develop this internal fear, you stop needing external motivation. You have Necessità. You do it because you must. Discipline is the only freedom. When you command yourself to do the hard thing and you actually do it, you feel a power that no goal can give you. You feel dangerous. You walk into a room and you know, I can control myself. Therefore, I can control this room. Establish the law within yourself. Write your own constitution. I do not complain. I do not speak of plans. I execute them. I do not react to insults. I analyze them. Be a fair king, but be a strong king. So if we delete the goals, what replaces them? It comes down to 3 pillars: positioning, leverage, adaptability. Positioning. Stop asking, what do I want to achieve? Start asking, where must I be standing? If you want to be rich, Position yourself in the flow of money. Don't set a goal to make money. Go stand where the money is being exchanged. Adopt the customs of that place. If you want to be strong, position yourself in environments of resistance. Success is not a sprint. It is a location. Leverage. Goals are linear. Leverage is exponential. Machiavelli didn't fight every battle himself. He used alliances. He used other people's armies. Look at your life. Are you doing everything with brute force? How can you use technology? How can you use other people's time? The strategist asks, how can I get the maximum result with the minimum necessary effort? This is not laziness. It is efficiency. It is conserving your energy for the killing blow. Adaptability. Wake up every day and read the room. Read the market. If you are tired, do strategic work. If you are energetic, do execution work. Do not force a square peg into a round hole. Be water. If the door is locked, go through the window. If the ground is too hard, wait for rain to soften it. Never stop moving, but never be afraid to change the direction. This method removes the emotional weight of failing. You cannot fail if you are constantly adapting. You can only be delayed. And delay to a strategist is just time to sharpen the blade. When you delete your goals, something shifts in your eyes. You stop looking desperate. You look like you have something. People are drawn to certainty. In a world of anxious goal setters, the man with a system is king. You become the eye of the storm, calm, cold, watchful. While they scream about their 5-year plans, you are quietly laying the bricks of an empire. You stop getting high on the fantasy of the future and start getting high on the control of the present. Every action becomes a ritual of power. Every silence becomes a maneuver. This is the Machiavellian way. It is dark. It is lonely. It requires you to kill the part of you that wants to be saved. No one is coming to save you. Only you can save you. And you will do it not by wishing, but by commanding. Now you are awake. You have looked into the abyss of your own ambition, and you did not blink. But the mind is a tricky servant. It will try to slide back into old habits. You must guard the throne of your mind. There is one specific trap that destroys even the best strategists. It is the trap of emotional leakage, letting your feelings dictate your strategy. Machiavelli warned about this. In the next transmission, we will dissect how to detach from your emotions so completely that you become immune to manipulation. You think you are calm. You have no idea what true stillness is. Do not look away. The abyss is gazing back.